legacy. How will yours be defined?
60 minutes.
Stay in the moment.
Whatever it takes.
When they think of you,
So much on the line.
will it be of passion,
Everybody together.
sacrifice,
The instinct.
greatness? Will you meet the moment
David Gillette, baby!
to live amongst legends?
Oh, more, baby!
Or watch
What a goal!
as someone else's dream becomes reality?
End to end.
They're on a mission.
Heroes are remembered,
Unbelievable moment.
but legends live forever. Here at the NCAA Women's Lacrosse Championship.
Championship weekend begins from just outside Boston, Gillette Stadium, where the entire season comes down to this. #1 undefeated North Carolina taking on the 4-seeded Florida Gators. 4 teams dreaming of winning a national championship here in Foxborough. Our second semifinal, 2 perennial powers. Boston College and Northwestern, the 2 teams that have decided the last 2 national championships. Hi everybody, alongside Charlotte North, Sheehan Stanbrick, Birch, Jay Alter with you. All eyes on #1 North Carolina. The Tar Heels have been the best team in the sport to this point in the season, Charlotte.
You think of North Carolina, you think championship weekend mainstay. But this is a Tar Heels team that has missed the past 2 Final Fours. Only 2 members of the current North Carolina team have played at a stage like this. But the last time they were here, they came in undefeated and they took the title. Today they sit at the #1 seed, undefeated as well.
And when you come in undefeated, you come in as the favorites. But Sheehan, you look at all 4 of these teams and they believe they can be the ones holding that trophy on Sunday.
#4 seed Florida, they're coming in here confident. We talked with the players yesterday and they said, we feel like we've got something to prove. And they said, keep talking about the top 3 teams. They've embraced the noise. All that talk about North Carolina, Boston College, and Northwestern. But this Florida team is coming in confident. A hard-fought victory over Stanford in overtime. And Duke, they held them back if they were making a big comeback to come out with a win to get here.
Confident for a reason when you win 17 games in a row. Let's hear from the Gators head coach Amanda O'Leary moments ago with the 4th member of our crew, Dana Boyle.
Coach O'Leary, you returned just a handful of starters from a season ago, yet you find yourself back in championship weekend for the 2nd straight year. How is this team playing so inspired?
Yeah, I mean, I credit the players. I mean, they came in August wanting to repeat their trip back to the Final Four. They worked diligently every single day, put time in the weight room, just time in the film room, on the practice field. They've earned this opportunity. I'm just super proud of them.
They've earned it to play against the lone undefeated team in the nation in the Carolina Tar Heels. What's critical off the opening whistle today?
Yeah, I mean, Carolina is just loaded from top to bottom. They have a potent offense, an amazing defense. We're just going to have to take care of the ball when we have it. We're going to have to play clean lacrosse today. But we're just excited to get out there and play.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Coach O'Leary just said it, North Carolina's loaded, Charlotte.
Headlined by the Humphrey sisters. If you're a lacrosse fan, they have become household names, both to Wharton finalists for this dominant offense. Chloe Humphrey, the redshirt freshman, she's 4th nationally in goals, has burst onto the scene, and oftentimes setting her up to score is older sister Ashley Humphrey, the facilitator and quarterback of this offense, who leads the nation in assists. This has been the best offense statistically by the numbers in the whole landscape of college lacrosse.
Averaging more than 17 goals per game. So much star power, headlined by the Humphrey sisters. Like you said, Charlotte, you worked so hard all season long to get to this moment. Our first of 2 semifinals. North Carolina in white, Florida in blue and orange.
The ball in between. Hold right there. Keep your head up.
She has it, she has it.
Hold it. Ready?
For the next 4 days, it's all lacrosse here in Foxborough. Both the women and the men crowning a champion this weekend. And it all starts with Florida and North Carolina. The Gators start with possession. And we were just talking about how much firepower North Carolina has on the offensive end, Sheehan, but the Tar Heels defense, #1 scoring defense in the country. They allow less than 7 goals per game. But Florida attacking early. Teresa Bragg, the defender, looking for that shot. How would you break down this North Carolina defense, Shan?
I love that confidence that Florida just showed right there, just charging hard when they found the space. This Tar Heel defense is great. They're physical, they put pressure, but if you find an opening, you gotta attack the cage. So they need to be calm and confident with the ball, but look for the openings.
Gianna Monaco, 27 in blue. Dispossessed there, regathers it. She's Florida's leading scorer on the season. And it's the Gators who draw first blood in this semifinal. Franny Hahn curling around the cage to open the scoring.
You couldn't script this start better for Florida. Getting possession on the draw. Possession is going to be key in this game, especially for Florida. Look at the movement. Florida is a little bit rattled. However, they maintain possession. Excellent job. Franny Hahn comes from behind the cage. Great pass from Monaco. And just a step above goal line extended. So love the openings here.
And it's the awareness by Franny Hahn on the crease. She's had a crease presence all season long in her redshirt freshman campaign. A lot of double teams go to Gianna Monaco as that strong dodging threat. You saw the double team trying to collapse on her there. And Franny Hahn, she got above goal line to be a threat to score.
Carolina was really aggressive on that defensive play, but I think that Florida handled that pressure very well, attacking hard. And Franny Hahn, known for her assisting ability as well, proof that she can score, and love that she didn't force that. It wasn't the best angle shot, but she saw the opening and took it.
So Franny Hahn opening the scoring for Florida, who leads the team in assists, showing that she can score goals as well. And nobody's been able to stop undefeated North Carolina's offense. We just showed you more than 17 goals per game. It looks like Florida, Charlotte's going with a double face guard here on the Humphrey sisters.
They're trying to deny number 18 and number 2, Chloe and Ashley Humphrey, of the ball, trying to remove them from the offensive set. But you can see they're trying to get them involved early with pick action.
And they tried to force it in to Chloe Humphrey, tightly marked there, and it results in a turnover. And this is our first card of the game. Eliza Osborne. And North Carolina wins it right back. It looks like they actually didn't whistle a green card there, Sheehan. If thought a foul in between the 30s, we would have seen one.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what they called there because they thought the foul did happen right at the midfield line. But no one is sitting in the sin bin right now for Carolina. They get a great job by Marissa White, though, coming up with that ball.
Now, this North Carolina pressure has been relentless all season, and they're so good at turning turnovers into goals, although they give it away there. Uncharacteristic turnovers in the first 2 possessions for the top-seeded Tar Heels.
I love the aggression that we're seeing from Florida, whether it's on offense, we saw the great takes to cage. There was a swipe. Carolina just needs to take a break right now, just a little bit of a breath and settle down. I like the pressure, though, that we're seeing from Florida.
And Florida plays that aggressive man-to-man defense. They sag off a little bit in some areas. They like to be conservative on pressure in certain points of the offensive set. But that Florida defense, they have been tough to crack this season.
And Florida face guarding the Humphrey sisters, a decision to make if you're North Carolina. Do you pull them out and make it 5 versus 5, or do you force it in to Chloe and Ashley? That whizzes wide from Caitlin Davies. 50 goals for the junior this season. What an increase that's been, Shan.
I mean, last year she was a line defender for this Florida team. Now back in her true position of midfield. Over 50 goals this season, so a remarkable change. She does a little bit of everything. Whatever this Florida team needs, Coach Mandy O'Leary saying that she does, whether it's ground balls, draw controls, and now this year's scoring.
A true two-way midfielder, becoming a lost art. Davies exemplifies it for Florida. It's been a good start for the Gators.
And you mentioned the true two-way midfielders. Florida likes to run those midfielders throughout the entirety of the game, and that gives them a lot of chances in transition to have numbers.
That ball tipped, and Betty Nelson The redshirt freshman goalie out to grab it. Nelson, one of many Tar Heels playing in their first Final Four weekend. You think North Carolina, they're a staple, a perennial power, and they are, but they've missed the last two championship weekends since they won it in 2022.
I think that was clear when we saw them at practice and talking with the players yesterday, just how excited they were to be here and the appreciation to be on this stage.
Olivia Vergano draws the foul there against Teresa Bragg. Bragg named first team All-American by the IWLCA yesterday. This is Chloe Humphrey, number 2 in white. Dangerous off a restart, passes.
And when you're being face guarded, you're trying to be denied of the ball. There are other ways that you can get involved in the action. You saw them try to use a pick earlier. You can get the end line runouts.
Kaylee Harden weaves in and scores. We were just talking about Davies as a two-way midfielder. Kaylee Harden, a two-way midi for UNC, ties it at 1.
Kaylee Harden headlines the depth that this team has at the midfield. They are all over the field at the draw control circle on the defensive end, but right here she shows off her dodging ability on the perimeter. Marissa White goes underneath. That clears the lane for Harden to get over the top of her defender. You see number 21 cutting through so that Harden can slice right down the heart of the Florida defense with no slide in sight. Handles the contact and buries that through pressure.
Looks like Fennell got a piece of that shot as well.
And a key to this offense for North Carolina, if they have 2 players being face guarded and being shut off, they can run 5 versus 5 with a lot of space.
Which is huge, because it looked like on that last play they had them pulled out to the side, which opened things up.
Sorry. Ready?
We love that the officials are mic'd up, but that might have blown everybody out at home with the great access there from the referee. Getting a full whistle there. Lisa Clark, Kathy Russo, and Liz Brush, our terrific officiating crew for this first semifinal.
So Chloe Humphrey with the ball here. I think it is important for Carolina to get the ball in the Humphrey sisters' sticks.
And you can see the immediate double team.
Right back to Harden, 17 in white. He scored the lone goal for Carolina on the last possession.
What's been so impressive about this Carolina team all year is the depth. Humphrey sisters get a lot of the headlines, but so many players are talented. You see a foul called, check across the body. This will set up an 8-meter.
And it's Kate Levy, the freshman, who her mother is the head coach. Jenny Levy started the program 30 years ago, looking for her 4th national championship this weekend. Watches on as her daughter Kate steps up for the first 8-meter of this game. Levy one-on-one with Fennell, charges in, bounces it wide. Chloe Humphrey there to regather. It'll stay North Carolina's way.
You can see how much perimeter pressure that this Florida defense is putting on the Humphrey sisters. You saw Chloe heads up, awareness behind to gobble up that ground ball, that shot deflection, and then trying to get it to Ashley Humphrey, her sister, behind.
Well, this is her first touch of the game. That rings off the pipe.
You can see her signaling, slow it down. Had a couple good looks on Cage. I like that feed to the inside.
Kate Levy was inches away there from giving North Carolina the lead. Ashley Humphrey trying to split a double team, draws a hard foul.
And a card.
Florida's been very physical to start this game.
They definitely are. They're going for body, some hard fouls. Now they're going to have to adjust the way that the officials are calling this. So watch Ashley Humphrey go to Cage, and then this swiping check into the body. It's actually more the elbow area and into the body. Check the head. So this is a yellow card. Teresa Bragg, the best defender for this Florida team, will be sidelined for up to 2 minutes.
And a decision to make if you're Ashley Humphrey, because you're woman up here, or do you take the free position and go to goal?
I like taking the free position. I think if she feels good, it looks like she's in a passing stance, so she's going to throw outside of that.
And something to note, when you are woman down, you cannot be in that face guard, so they will not be able to shut off both Humphrey sisters, but it looks like even woman down, they're trying to shut off Ashley Humphrey on the right side of your screen right here.
Here's Vergano, the dangerous lefty, earns a shooting space, and she'll step up for a free position here on the power play.
Vergano, the power lefty. I expect her to take this shot.
Winding up, lets it rip. Great save, Elise Fennell, and she almost scooped it into her own net, and she did. Fennell trying to scoop it up after a spectacular save. Something she's done thousands of times. It goes awry, crosses the line, and North Carolina takes the lead 2-1.
Vergano winds up and shoots. Fennell with the save, and it bounces on the foot, but watch the rake, and that ball crosses the goal line. Carolina with the early lead.
Our first of two semifinals here to start championship weekend, and it's undefeated #1 North Carolina with a narrow 2-1 lead midway through this first quarter. This is how they got the lead. Vergano denied by Fennell, a spectacular save, and then you can see it clearly crosses the line as she tries to rake it out and start the clear.
Well, so what she first did was try to scoop into it, and I think she should have raked it first. So that scoop to the back, pushed it in, and then she went for the rake. So a mistake you don't usually see. And that's why as a goalie, you have to have a short memory. So Vergano will get credited with the goal. You'll take it anyway, you get it.
She had a great look to draw that shooting space, which that 8-meter, that was the result of that 8-meter that trickled in as Fennell tried to scoop it up, but they were playing 6v5 because of the face guard and the penalty.
And that could be an example of the nerves that you have early in a national semifinal. Fennell, something she's done thousands of times throughout her career, ends up gifting North Carolina a goal to take the lead 2-1.
That's the kind of mistake you do once and you never do again. You hate to learn that on a stage like this, but just have a short memory. You can hear the nice talking that's going through with the officials and the draw takers.
North Carolina wins possession.
Calling an off-ball hold there on that 3-versus-3 scrum for the ground ball at the draw.
The Tar Heels have now won 3 draws in a row. And after they started this game with 2 turnovers on their opening 2 possessions, finding an offensive rhythm now.
I think that all starts with possession. Florida was able to start strong when they first won that draw control. You look at the spacing, pulling out the 2 face guards, so much room for Carolina. It's a lot of room for the defense needs to have to cover to come to the slides.
And you can see the slides aren't quick to go, so you see Chloe Humphrey getting involved, trying to get on the same page as her teammate to get the ball with the right timing.
Humphrey goes lefty, denied by Fennell. Usually Chloe Humphrey automatic when she can get those that left hand free. North Carolina relentless on the ride.
That's an aspect of Chloe Humphrey's game I love. Doesn't end up getting possession, but she's excellent on the ride, comes up with those checks. Florida's able to maintain possession. It's really hard to face guard a player like Chloe Humphrey. She moves constantly all the time. She's got a great jab step, the V cuts to get open. I like that Carolina's looking for her. And that's got to feel good for Fennell to make that save.
I agree with you, Sheehan. All you need is one teammate on the same page as you to be able to pop out and get the ball, even when you're being face guarded.
Davies, an answer! Caitlin Davies delivers, and the junior ties it at
2. The Big 12 midfielder of the year. Does a little bit of everything for this team, but this year it's been her production on the offensive end. It starts with an unbelievable save from mid-range by Elise Fennell. Quick clear out. Because they have 3 middies, they can push transition all the way end to end. And it's a high north-south dodge by Davies. She recognizes that there's no slide or hedge, so she realizes she's got a ton of real estate to keep going if she keeps her foot on the gas, and that is what that midfielder does so well, using her burst of speed and strength from a north-south perspective to get her hands free.
And Davies, you see their Big 12 midfielder here. If you're thinking, no, Florida's in the SEC. They are for every sport but women's lacrosse. The SEC doesn't have lacrosse yet. It better come, and Florida would certainly welcome that. They've bounced around. They've been in what feels like every conference, and the Big East, the American, now their first year in the Big 12. And she and the constant has been, no matter what conference they've been in, they usually win it.
Yeah, they've done an excellent job, and really balancing a conference schedule and then having out-of-conference games that really challenge them to prepare them for this national stage.
Sam Forrest, number 8 for the Tar Heels. She's the defender that takes the top dodging threat of opposing offenses, and she's matched up on Clark Hamilton, the freshman.
Clark Hamilton, 21 in blue and orange. I said they go inside. Basso denied. Good save there by Betty Nelson.
This is great defense by Ellie Traggio. And look at the speed here. Haley Harden on the run.
As Charlotte was just talking about what makes Florida's two-way midfielders so dangerous. Harden provides that same threat for North Carolina, and it's such a weapon in the transition game.
All day today, we're gonna see elite two-way midfielders who go end to end and play a lot of minutes. That is a hard position to master.
Marissa White, no angle. North Carolina, very patient, so much star power on the offensive end of the field. Everybody's a threat. The Humphrey sisters steal the headlines, but all 7 of them, so much depth, so much firepower. Here's Harden, trying to spin her way in, lost the ball, swarmed. Florida's been relentless on the ground balls today. The Gators win possession again. They've caused 3 turnovers in this opening quarter.
And playing 5-on-5 with those 2 Humphrey sisters pulled out of the offensive set. The slides become much longer, so even more impressive that they're able to contain their 1v1 and slide with conviction to get to the perimeter and disrupt the Carolina offense.
Yeah, Charlotte, you make a good point. It's been interesting, the transformation in the first quarter. At first, North Carolina offensively not fazed by the double face guard, and now you get the sense on the sidelines there's a little bit of panic there.
Hamilton with a head of steam fires Florida in front. The freshman with her 55th goal. Shot out of a cannon. What a special player.
This is a win-win situation for Florida here. Not only does Clark Hamilton get the score, but Carolina is being awarded a yellow card. 55th goal this season for the star freshman. Mandy O'Leary telling us they knew that she was something special coming into this program. An excellent one-on-one dodger, gets her defender on her side, throws in the fakes. Her confidence emerging as a huge goal scorer, evading the checks. That is amazing. Look at the wrist dexterity and strength.
I think the most underrated aspect of Clark Hamilton's game is her explosive dodging with both hands. That makes her so tough to guard on the perimeter. And she's drawn the top matchup today as just a freshman being marked by Sam Forrest.
And so there's Kate Levy, head coach Jenny Levy's daughter, who is sitting down, serving that yellow card penalty. It's under official review.
That's going to be a coach's challenge on head coach Jenny Levy for North Carolina, challenging that card.
Replay review, new to the sport. The 2 things you can challenge as a coach is a goal-scoring play and a cardable foul. So Jenny Levy elected to do that here.
And that's key because a yellow card is a 2-minute penalty. It is releasable, but on your 4th team yellow card, it becomes unreleasable.
Game has been very physical since the first draw. But Florida was calling for a card in the midfield earlier in this game.
So number 13, in the replay right there, if I had to call it again, I don't think that that's a cardable foul. There is an extension of the arms, but it almost looks like she missed her as well, so it wasn't full-on contact.
It's worth noting that the call on the field, though, was a yellow card. So do you have indisputable evidence that it should not have been one?
And I think what they're also looking at is, was it in the back? I think that's a very big key to this play.
Well, our officials are mic'd up, so we will get the call as soon as they emerge from the video monitors.
Looking at number 13 coming in, extension of the arms is a push.
Oh,
in that shoulder area.
There might have been a little bit of contact as she was sliding with her stick with the head of Clark Hamilton right there. Maybe they're looking at that as well.
Let's get the call.
See head coach Jenny Levy speaking with the table official, saying if any push, is that going to be a card? So that's in women's lacrosse, the rules, a lot of them are about safety. All of them are about safety. The only equipment worn is the goggles. So yellow cards can be subjective. Any check to the head is an automatic yellow card, whether it was incidental or on purpose. Pushing can get a little bit a gray area because sometimes it's a card, sometimes it's not.
And I think Jenny Levy just wants consistency because it's been a very physical first quarter. So was that push more egregious than all the other fouls that were left uncalled so far in this game? Jenny Levy is still livid over on that Tar Heel sideline. Her team trailing 3-2. Florida on the power play, so there's no draw control. The Gators stay on possession, woman up here. And you have to say, 4-seeded Florida, they've got all the momentum in this first quarter.
I think it makes sense for Florida here to really work the clock right now. 2 minutes penalty, it's releasable on the score, and the shot clock is still in effect.
Monaco, the extra pass, and it's an easy finish. Florida cashes in on the power play. And we welcome those that are joining us on ESPNU here at Gillette Stadium. Charlotte North, Sheehan, Stanwick, Birch, Jay Alter with you, Dana Boyle just on the sideline. Jordan Basso has just delivered Florida a power play goal. And the Gators now leading undefeated #1 North Carolina 4-2. What a start for Florida.
Unbelievable execution on the woman up unit. They have 3 on the crease. That is an overload situation. And you see Gianna Monaco with a veteran heads-up move. When you have 3 down there, oftentimes there are 2 crease defenders because they are in the woman down zone. So you overload, you try to bait to one side, and you find the cutter on the back pipe. Jordan Basso, the transfer from Gettysburg, coming from Division III to Division I, has had an unbelievable season for the Gators on the offensive end.
She was 3-time Conference Player of the Year when she was at Gettysburg. It's been a welcome addition here for Florida this year. And that woman up play was done to execution. You pass it, work the ball around, find the opening.
And I think Basso unlocks so much as a lefty on the crease for this offense. We've seen it all season long, but she has proved that her talents can dominate Division I as well.
What's crazy, Charlotte, is that when she went in the portal, Reggie Thorpe, the offensive coordinator for Florida, found her, and she wasn't getting any Division I looks. And at first, when she was having conversations with Reggie, said, I don't know if I can play at the Division I. I think she's made a pretty good case for herself.
Oh, she has proven she belongs, scoring in a national semifinal against #1 undefeated North Carolina. That's what makes this weekend so special. All 4 teams believing they can be the ones to capture a national championship. Osborne, she broke free, everything but the finish. Elise Fennell, another huge save for Florida.
Great stop, love the backdoor cut. And Fennell stood strong, but this is the ride. UNC is excellent coming up with getting the ball back. They're not going to just retreat. They're going to pressure you to try to get a turnover.
North Carolina's pressure is a big reason they sit at 20-0 this season. Growing pains to start the season. Actually, it was a game in February against this Florida team. They played 11 minutes woman down as they were figuring out that pressure defense. Humphrey trying to pass out of a double team, turns it over. Caitlin Davies weaving through on the clear.
This Tar Heel offense trying to get Chloe Humphrey involved as she comes up with another cross turnover in the ride. Early double team is going to number 2 for the Tar Heels offense. Lots of on-ball pressure, but she knows there are other ways she can impact this game, and that comes in the ride with pressure and transition.
Which I think is huge. Sometimes if as a player, if you're not having success in one area, find another way that you can help. And whether that's in the ride, coming up with those key ground balls, setting picks, doing something, and love that she's being a major force in getting possession for the Tar Heels.
And that's been the identity of this Tar Heels team all over the field. We talk about pressure on the defensive end. A lot of that comes in transition with jump doubles and traps in corners of the field.
Kaylee Harden in attack mode. A little more than 1 minute remaining in this opening quarter. Caroline Godin clearing out, curling around. Godin trying to get those hands free. Not a great angle. Went in anyway. Pops back up. Suffocated and turns it over.
Caitlin Davies was an excellent takeaway check. Double team, perfectly executed. Caitlin Davies, I mean, we've talked about her this game, but it's so worth mentioning the ability that she's able to impact on the defensive end and the offensive end. And Mandy O'Leary saying that she's that spark that this team needs.
And Florida is dialed in defensively. The Gators have forced 5 North Carolina turnovers in this first quarter. 20 seconds left in it. And you have to say it's the 4-seeded Gators with all the momentum. Monaco, the leading scorer, trying to spin her way free. 8 seconds to work with. Gabby Green, the freshman, trying to bulldoze her way in. That clock continues to run and brings the first quarter to a close. If you've been watching us on ESPN News, pop over to ESPNU. Our first semifinal as championship weekend kicks off here at Gillette Stadium. With Brewing, 4-seeded Florida, 4-2 lead against undefeated North Carolina after 1. What a start to championship weekend, an eventful first quarter, Charlotte.
It's been the relentless pressure by the Florida Gators. You got Kaylee Harden in the midfield involved for the North Carolina offense, but right there you saw Elise Fennell giving them one of their 2 goals, accidentally knocking it into the back of the net. And then Caitlin Davies, the Big 12 midfielder of the year, going to work on the perimeter, and then their other top-dodging threat, Clark Hamilton, owning their one-on-one matchups and capitalizing on opportunities.
Really impressive for Florida. I feel like they started this game just confident. They started out strong, 4 different goal scorers, and forced North Carolina into 5 turnovers. The one area that I think Florida can clean up, though, is in the midfield. UNC's been able to pressure them and get some turnovers of their own.
The North Carolina undefeated, but certainly no stranger to a come-from-behind victory. They trailed in both games against Northwestern and Boston College in the regular season, came back to win it. So you got to play a full 4 quarters against this top-seeded Tar Heels team. One area that they have been very strong in is their pressure. They have caused Florida trouble in the clearing game. 3 failed clears by the Gators in that first quarter. Now can they capitalize on the offensive end?
A unit that this Tar Heels team has that has developed a lot throughout the course of the season is their draw unit, and you saw Eliza Osborne coming up with another draw control for the Tar Heels. She's been the wing player all over the 50-50 ground balls.
I like the change that UNC is moving right here. Instead of pulling Ashley and Chloe Humphrey out in the face guard, they're working them into the offensive set. I think that's a better rhythm for them. They looked a bit out of sorts.
Osborne, Fennell read it well. Couldn't corral the save, though. It's loose. Jump ball. These battles for the ground balls in the national semifinal mean so much. North Carolina stays on possession. Osborne feeding it in. What a goal! Chloe Humphrey climbed the ladder to bring it in and put it into the back of the net. Freshman to freshman, Eliza Osborne to Chloe Humphrey, 2 first-team All-ACC players in their first year playing college lacrosse. They show why there.
That was a great start to the second quarter for Carolina. Not only winning the 50-50 ball, but just getting Chloe Humphrey involved. This is what she's done all season long. She catches basically anything thrown into her and can finish. Great pass up tight. Eliza Osborne looks to draw the shooting space back. Instead, gets it inside to Chloe Humphrey, who does an excellent job catching it on the run. Good pump fake. She catches it, throws it into space, and then shoots, absorbing the contact and pressure. And that's a foul right there where you see the push on the body. I'm surprised that wouldn't be a foul call on Chloe Humphrey.
And we talk about the other ways you can get involved when being shut off. That was a broken play off the goalie save to the perimeter. She's heads up, being an off-ball threat, cutting as the ball moves around the perimeter.
That's the 80th goal for Chloe Humphrey as a freshman. Last year she was a redshirt freshman. Last year she was sidelined with an injury. #1 recruit in the nation, and she has come in as promised.
And those 80 goals is a freshman scoring record. No freshman in the history of the sport has scored more goals than Chloe Humphrey has this season for North Carolina. You feel for Elise Fennell in Florida. She's made 2 saves in this first half that, because she couldn't corral what happened after the save, has led to a North Carolina goal.
Chloe Humphrey, the first freshman ever to be a Tewaaraton nominee, finalist.
Another great save by Fennell. She's reading it really well, even though Florida has struggled with what comes after the save, both in the clearing game and Fennell scooping it into her own net. She's got a good read on North Carolina shooters in this first half.
And it was really interesting in speaking with her yesterday. She mentioned her defense sets her up for success. They give her the types of shots that she likes to see in those alleys as those midfielders turn the corner. She likes to see those angles, and she's reading the ball very well to start this game.
And the Gators team certainly with the lead. They won't be too aggressive, Sheehan. Will play for the right look, not the first look. Take some time off the shot clock.
Got to be smart with your passes also. You see the different styles of defense. UNC will pressure out. Florida sits more back, closer on the 8-meter. Got to make sure that the stick is really open when you're looking to feed. Otherwise, Carolina will make a tip or try to come up with that interception. This is where Clark Hamilton can be very dangerous from with the dodge. Great slide defensively.
Monaco, the Gators' leading scorer, been quiet so far in this first half. Totally denied there, Sophie Student. Terrific defense, and now Student off and running. The transfer from Virginia Tech. Great strides, turns defense into offense so easily. Scramble for the ball, Chloe Humphrey turns around and scores! Chloe Humphrey, back-to-back goals for the freshman to tie it at
4. The blazing speed of Sophie Student out of the collapsing double team. She's the defensive midfielder for the Tar Heels team. She comes up with a ground ball after she closes this double team. Swats the ball away, using her stick to her advantage, and she's off to the races. That sets up an unsettled situation. Chloe Humphrey does not elect to take that one-timer down the alley. She instead holds on to it, uses the deception to get just one step above goal line extended. Realizes if she reaches that stick off her body, she gains a greater angle towards the cage, and that's how she's able to put it past Fennell.
What a great take by Humphrey. She had that initial shot that just bounced off, was able to get possession, comes around. Her finishing ability, her speed, her just quickness, getting her hands free. Her ability to use both her right and left hand has really been showcased this entire season. And I'm impressed. She had a couple possessions that weren't going her way early on in this game. She made a big presence in the middle of the field, coming up with some calls, turnovers, and now has turned on the scoring to tie this game.
And she doesn't stop moving. We've seen her get involved in a variety of different ways. A lot of it is off ball, cutting and being open on the back pipe, away from that ball side of the offense. She does not stop moving her feet.
And Humphrey, 2 goals in 2 minutes and 32 seconds to tie this game at 4. You mentioned she doesn't stop moving. Not just on game days, in practice as well. Our head coach, Jenny Levy, told us that they thought the tracker that the players wear in practice was broken because Humphrey was doubling the mileage of all of her teammates. She said she has a superpower. She goes full throttle every minute of every day. We've never seen anything like her when it comes to her work rate, and it's showing up in a national semifinal with back-to-back goals.
Eliza Osborne has been key on the draw circle. Excellent. Just clean takeaway, pick up.
And I think as we watch this Tar Heels team develop over the course of the season, the chemistry between Sophie Student, the draw taker, Eliza Osborne, and Kaylee Harden on the circle as that 3 versus 3 unit, they've developed a lot of chemistry. It seems like they're on the same page, and Osborne comes up with a lot of possession for this Tar Heels team.
Feed it into Humphrey. She's got a hat trick. Make it 3 straight goals for Chloe Humphrey.
Great turnaround this second quarter for North Carolina. They ended that first quarter down 4-2, and then Chloe Humphrey has taken over. 3rd goal today, 3 in a row. And she's done it different ways each time she's scored. Her cutting, she just waits for the defender to hesitate ever so slightly, and it will explode to cage and get her stick free. Beautiful pass from Caroline Godine. Very tough for a goalie to have to look at the feeder that's behind the cage and then find whoever's shooting.
Another example of how she doesn't stop moving. That back door was set up because she had her eyes on her teammate, Caroline Godine. Those 2 players on the same page, that's all you need to try to break a face guard, someone trying to deny you of the ball.
3 goals in nearly 3 minutes for Chloe Humphrey. A first half hat trick. She has had 17 games this season where she scores at least 3 goals. And that one fires North Carolina in front. The Tar Heels have really settled into this game after those 5 first quarter turnovers. They are sharp right now offensively in this second quarter.
And a key reason why is winning possession on the draw control cleanly. They had 7 draw controls to Florida's 3.
Chloe feeding this time to another freshman on the field, Addison Patillo. That's what's so impressive about this Tar Heels team. Undefeated, #1 in the country. And when they put 4 freshmen on the field together, one of them right on cue, Eliza Osborne delivers. 4 of their 7 offensive players on that possession, freshmen, and make it 4 straight goals for #1 North Carolina.
Eliza Osborne has had an impact all over this game. She's the ACC Freshman of the Year. Coming out of the midfield for the Tar Heels, she has an ability to win her matchup on the perimeter. A subtle plant step. She's reading the hips of her defender. That subtle plant to the inside of the field wins her top side. And again, her teammates are cutting through for her and giving her the space. That takes the slide or the help defense away and allows her to win that 1v1 battle.
And even though Jenny Levy has been in so many Final Fours throughout her 3-decade career, these freshmen are experiencing it for the first time. Chloe Humphrey, Eliza Osborne, her daughter Kate Levy, and Addison Patillo. Those 4 have played major minutes this season for the Tar Heels. Much needed possession for Florida. They have been starved of the ball in the second quarter. It's allowed North Carolina to go on a 4-0 run and grab control. Gabby Green, the freshman, didn't like her angle, passes out of it. Davies lost possession.
And if you're this Florida offense, you got to go to the matchups that are favorable to your offense, that you think you can win, but give the perimeter space to dodge.
And Jenny Markey dispossessed That swarming North Carolina defense delivers again, and the Tar Heels have numbers in transition. Ashley Humphrey, right on cue. Beautiful feed to Patillo, another freshman. And the Tar Heels are flying in this second quarter. It's a 5-0 North Carolina run.
#1 offense in the nation on display in that play. 30th goal from Patillo. #1 recruit in the nation, Kate Levy with a great takeaway check. She leads that team with caused turnovers. Sam Forrest on the run, and this just passing. Beautiful job, Ashley Humphrey, the nation's leading assister, gets it to Patillo, the quick handle and finish of the shot. UNC has hit the last 4 shots. You see them getting into a rhythm. It just felt like they were a little bit out of sorts to start that first quarter. They open up the second quarter, win 4 straight draw controls. Chloe Humphrey goes on a tear, and now everything seems to be flowing for them.
And they had numbers in transition there because Sam Forrest, the natural defender, stayed on throughout the entirety of that possession. These defenders like to run in stride through the offensive end, and oftentimes that comes up with a man-up opportunity.
We're going to see a green card issue for a check across the body. Those fouls in between the 30s in that midfield area, the physical fouls. And this will sideline Eliza Osborne for up to 1 minute.
But North Carolina had stolen the momentum in this second quarter. 5-0 run. Florida desperate for a goal on this power play to claw one back. Florida 1 for 1, woman up in this first half. Executed beautifully to find Basso wide open. Basso passing this time, point blank range. Monaco couldn't finish it. Great save, Betty Nelson from in close. Florida reloads on the power play. Woman up for another 25 seconds.
Gianna Monaco is yet to score for Florida, the leading goal scorer with 73 goals.
But Sam Forrest comes away with it. North Carolina woman down, defense delivers. Harden blows by everybody. Doesn't go to goal though. Making sure that the power play expires, which it just did. North Carolina back to full strength.
Florida putting some more pressure, extending out on the ball carriers.
Here's Chloe Humphrey. Passes off. Osborne whizzes it wide. Ashley Humphrey has the backup. This is one way you can break out of the face guard.
Early double team going to Chloe Humphrey as the dodging threat.
Ashley Humphrey picks out Marissa White. 20 seconds left to shoot for North Carolina. And now Chloe Humphrey clearing out. Florida does a good job there to deny Chloe and force a turnover. Jenny Levy not happy with it.
Right now it looks like Florida is going to stay with the ball. They may be trying to get the officials talking, might be trying to get the clock set right.
Looked like the shot clock expired, but it was a change of possession before that to Florida. They called the foul.
Okay, make sure it whistles start.
That is just the first turnover in this second quarter for North Carolina after suffering 5 in the first quarter. Florida, who started this game so strongly, got up 4-2. Now a North Carolina surge, 5 straight goals. The pressure is just relentless. Every team they've faced this season, Sheehan, talks about the Tar Heels' pressure.
I mean, whether you're in settled defense, but the pressure they put on you when you're trying to clear the ball just displayed perfectly. And once again, Chloe Humphrey involved in coming up with getting that ball back.
And that was a double team with Charlotte Corkins, another freshman midfielder who plays a role in between the 30s. You saw the perfectly timed, relentless double team.
This Tar Heel team was eliminated by Florida in the first round of the NCAA quarterfinals last year. And it is clear, speaking with them yesterday, how happy they are to be back here. They've had a perfect season, but they do not feel overly confident. They feel confident and smart, but also with a lot of gratitude.
Finale, great save. She's been reading it well, especially going low. Her 5th of this first half.
You want to make sure after a goalie makes a save, it's so crucial if the defense can come up with the ball because it resets the shot clock off after a goalie saves. And it can be a long and tiring possession for the defense to try to stop.
And it looks like Florida making a little adjustment defensively, not shutting off Chloe Humphrey too far on the perimeter like they are to older sister Ashley Humphrey, but she gets involved off the end line run out.
Yeah, that's one way to break out the face guard. If you're closest to the ball, you can restart. And she finds Marissa White for another Tar Heels goal. Make it 6 in a row for #1 North Carolina.
Opposing defenses on high alert when Ashley Humphrey has the ball behind the cage. She's the quarterback. Her eyes are always up. She finds the opening, and she puts her team up 4.
Usually if you're a team in championship weekend, you got veteran players. And North Carolina has those, but they've got some freshmen that are showing up on a huge stage.
They have delivered #1 recruiting class coming in this year and been absolutely as promised. Chloe Humphrey, #2, has just leading the way. You look at her numbers, 82 goals, 27 assists. But then the other newcomers, Betty Nelson and Cage, Eliza Osborne, Patillo, and Kate Levy. Today, having 5 goals and 1 assist from that group.
And Chloe Humphrey has tied the UNC single-season goals record set by Jamie Ortega in 2021 with 82 goals on the season.
That was a number that I wasn't sure if we were going to see a Tar Heel, not in recent history, but it has been absolutely amazing to watch Chloe Humphrey as defense have tried to shut her down multiple ways. We've seen her throughout the season with multiple types of face guards, sending the early slides, and the way that she's able to score in different ways. She's got a very bright future here. Her older sister Ashley Humphrey has been a huge help as they have a great connection. A lot of those assists have come from her. Godin now acting more as a quarterback, holding the ball as Ashley Humphrey, who usually occupies that position, is being face guarded and pulled out of the play.
Here's Patillo, goes low and scores. North Carolina can't stop scoring. Make it 7 in a row for the top-seeded Tar Heels.
Carolina has exploded. This second quarter, 12 shots. Florida's just had 2, and Patillo gets her 30th first goal this season. It's like UNC needed to catch their breath after that first quarter, and they have come on so strong. Look at all the space and room, all that green area. Patillo's able to absorb the contact. It's good one-on-one defense, but she just takes the check, gets her hands free, and a nice bouncer to pass it by Elise Finale. Good look at the goal cam. You see the movement and just a sliver of space. As a shooter, you need to look to the net. Sometimes when the goalie moves, your eyes can get caught on her. You gotta shoot to space, shoot to score.
Patillo has an insanely lethal first step on the dodge. Another dodging threat from the midfield, and one of the young members of this Tar Heel team that has made a significant impact.
She's so smooth and quick as she moves through the field.
And this is the second draw control in a row that Kaylee Harden has won. Off of the ground, just does not stop pursuing the ball.
Well, North Carolina, a 7-0 scoring run in 10 minutes time. Florida led 4-2, and then North Carolina turned this game around. And now they're starting to separate. Florida finds themselves in the danger zone after entering this quarter leading 4-2.
And if you're this Florida offense, you've got to set your Dodgers up for success with space. A clear through will do that, but you've got to give your Dodgers space to either beat her matchup or draw a slide.
Florida only 2 shots this entire quarter. Here's Brooklyn Walker-Welsh. The anchor of this Tar Heels defense comes up clutch again. Can flip it off to Caroline Godin and let this Tar Heels offense go right back to work, where they have been terrific in this second quarter.
The entire team for this UNC team has elevated itself in the second quarter. You see it defensively, coming up with the great calls, turnovers in the midfield and on attack.
Chloe Humphrey, that speed is unstoppable. 4 goals for the freshman, and with that goal, she passes Jamie Ortega for the most goals scored in a single season in the history of North Carolina lacrosse. What a moment that is to do it in the national semifinal.
On the biggest of stages, passing one of the game's all-time greats in terms of goal scoring. She does it on a dodge here, but she sees that she's got space underneath, and there is no slide because that top crease player cut through for her. So she knows that, she's aware, so she gets underneath and she's able to bring her stick back to the interior portion of the 8-meter. Her dominant right hand to put it far, low, and away. Such an explosive dodger with a quick change of direction. You've seen it on display with her backdoor cutting, her off-ball movement. But she's pretty good in the 1v1 as well.
She does a great job protecting her stick on the left-hand side of her body and then pulls it back, strong hand to hit that far post area. That's a credit to the rest of her teammates. As you said, cutting through, not allowing that slide to come. If she's one-on-one with her defender, she's gonna score on that take. Key to stopping Chloe Humphrey is sending a double team, and even that is no guarantee to slow her down.
Sheehan, you make a good point. Rightfully so, frustration from the Florida sideline, specifically defensively. It's back to the fundamentals. You have to send that slide, like you mentioned, and there also needs to be an urgency when someone like Chloe Humphrey has the ball on her stick. They're just not playing connected on the defensive end.
And Dana, a lot of times when you're ready to send the double, but the Dodger goes quickly, you can't get there in time. So Chloe Humphrey acting on that ball movement, dodging quickly to where there's real estate.
Godin on the run, stings the corner, blows it right by Fennell. And North Carolina has blown this semifinal wide open in this second quarter. 9-0 Tar Heels since the first quarter ended. Wow.
You see the smiles. Carolina offense, they're feeling it, working the ball, unselfish. And Caroline Godin, she's had the eye to feed. This time she's got the eye to score. The sidearm rip, top corner. 9 goals on 14 shots. This offense is on fire.
The Tar Heels now leading by 7, well on their way to making their way back to the national championship game, which is Sunday, noon Eastern time, 9 a.m. Pacific on ESPN. For more information, go to NCAA.com, your official home for all 90 NCAA championships. And Florida has made a goalie change. Georgia Hoey, the transfer from UConn, in for Elise Fennell. I didn't think Fennell's been the problem. She's made some great saves in this first half.
And as we've seen, though, throughout the course of the season, a lot of times teams will opt to make a goalie change just for a change of energy, to get your defense to react. Hoy has been an excellent goalie, and Florida has utilized 2 goalies throughout this season at different times.
Yeah, Hoey came in that quarterfinal matchup for Florida versus Duke with 6.5 minutes left in the game as Duke was storming back into that one. So they fully believe and trust in their 2-goalie system.
And Coach O'Leary feels really confident, to your point, she and flowing between the 2 goalkeepers. For Georgia Hoy, she feels like she's a little bit better with the ditch and dump and the fakes that Carolina's throwing right now. So we'll see if she finds success as the second quarter ends.
It's still to come, our second semifinal, Boston College in Northwestern. The last two national championships decided by those two programs. Now they meet in a national semifinal. Rachel DeCecco and Drew Carter will give you a look at that matchup coming up at halftime and show you, I'm sure, a lot of Chloe Humphrey goals and North Carolina's incredible second quarter. Outscoring the Gators 10-0 after that goal. You simply couldn't have a better second quarter in the sport of lacrosse than what we've seen from North Carolina in the semifinal.
In this quarter, this Carolina offense has put on a 1v1 dodging clinic, and a lot of that comes from the teammates off ball, setting them up with space and time. This Carolina offense, when you don't have the ball in your stick, on the right side of this field right here, they are constantly moving and occupying their defender. That's what gives Eliza Osborne time and space to go to work. It's the shiftiness, the change of direction, and the two-handed approach from up top from Eliza Osborne. And that is a tough angle to score with your non-dominant hand. But a credit to her teammates who are giving her the green space to go.
There's not much you can do defensively trying to guard that. They're forcing the Tar Heel players out to a severe angle. However, as a defender, you want to get your stick on stick. Try to deflect the shot somewhat, make some contact. UNC been really dominant on the draw controls, 12 compared to Florida's 5, and they've been able to capitalize on those key possessions.
And the depth is being showcased at the draw control circle as well. That was Sarah Gresham, the transfer from Virginia Tech. We saw what she could do in the ACC all season long at the draw control circle, pairing up with Sophie Student as that 1-2 punch at the center. And
5 seconds left in the half. North Carolina trying to add an 11th goal to the second quarter. Mercer White can't get it off.
Charlotte, you know, we've talked about it all season. The depth of UNC is what sets them apart. They've got the star players. They've got 2 players on the Final 5 Tewaaraton list. But there is so much talent end to end, and you've seen them all step up, especially in this second quarter.
The Gators forced into a goalie change. Georgia Hoy coming in for Elise Fennell at the end of that second quarter. And it's because North Carolina started the second quarter trailing 4-2. They end it leading 12-4, a 10-0 run to finish the first half from #1 North Carolina. And the player that started it all at the beginning of that second quarter, Chloe Humphrey. She's down on the field with Dana Boyd.
Chloe, your offense just went on a 10-0 run. What do you attribute that to?
I think just our heart. I mean, a lot of us, this is our first time playing in a Final Four. Even for our juniors and seniors, no one's actually played on the field other than Brooke and Walker Welch and Nicole Humphrey. So I think we need to get the jitters out. Now we're just playing our game, and we're having so much fun doing it.
Well, it looks like it out there. I'm not sure if you're aware, but with your 4 goals in that first half, you passed Jamie Ortega for the most goals scored in a single season by a Carolina Tar Heel. When I say that, what does that make you feel?
I mean, it's just a dream come true to be here, so that's incredible. I didn't know that. But wow, that goes to all my teammates putting it on my stick. I think a lot of those were assisted goals, and they just set me up so easily, and it just makes the job look easy.
You're awesome. Go rest up for the second half.
Thank you so much.
You saw the pure shock and joy from the freshman Chloe Humphrey. She makes history in that first half for North Carolina. The Tar Heels up 12-4. You've got a treat at halftime. Rachel DeCecco, the Tewaaraton winner, and Drew Carter. They've got you covered after the break. Just outside Boston, championship weekend gets started with North Carolina and Florida, the top-seeded Tar Heels, in control, 12-4. She and Sam Burt, Charlotte North, Jay Alter with you. And Florida had a great start to the first quarter, and then it was all North Carolina from there.
Carolina turned up the heat defensively, and then on offense, they were in attack mode. 10 goals scored in the second quarter. Phenomenal, from assists to one-on-one dodges, clearing out space, a little bit of everything, and the freshmen taking charge.
8 freshman goals so far for the Tar Heels, just showcasing how much depth they have and how the younger players on this team are not afraid of the biggest stage.
And a 10-0 quarter, you rarely see that in this sport. To do it in a national semifinal is so special. And this is the first game of 4 days of non-stop lacrosse as we crown a champion in both the women and the men's side right here at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough. Boston College Northwestern to follow today, and then the two men's semifinals here at Gillette Stadium tomorrow.
Talk about the success the Tar Heels had in the first half on offense and defense, but also at the draw control circle. They're getting it out to the circle, but also winning the 50-50 balls.
And North Carolina has won 6 draws in control. It's been make it, take it for the #1 seed. It's hard to remember that Florida had a 4-2 lead at the end of the first quarter. And Carolina trying to pick up where they left off. And Florida sticks with their goalie change. It's Georgia Hoy in net for the Gators. Teresa Bragg on the clear. And North Carolina trying to steal it away. The defense just feels like they are so dialed in right now, Sheehan. They're shutting out Florida since that first quarter. They've been inch perfect.
Whether it's collapsing on the double team without fouling, coming up with the ground balls, there's just a missed pass. So Florida's going to get a lucky break and get the ball back.
And really, Sheehan, Florida's been abandoning their fundamentals, specifically in that second quarter. They haven't been clearing the ball well. They've been timid, and Coach O'Leary coming out of halftime said, we just stopped competing in the second quarter. That means ground balls. That means winning it off the draw, those hustle stats.
And they've got to help out in the clear on the offensive end. This Tar Heels defense likes to lock off and pressure right over the 30, as you saw the previous play when they were able to come up with the caused turnover. So the Florida offense has to help go get the ball to successfully clear.
More than 20 minutes without a Florida goal. It's allowed a 10-0 run by North Carolina.
Florida just had 2 shots in that second quarter, and that's a big credit to this Carolina defense, putting the pressure, causing some turnovers. But Florida just needs to handle the pressure, protect their sticks.
And this is an offense that finds success when players like Caitlin Davies and Clark Hamilton are involved as the party starter, the Dodger.
Sam Forrest steals it away from Clark Hamilton, and North Carolina has numbers. Tar Heels so dangerous in transition. Chloe Humphrey winds up and scores! Humphrey unleashes an absolute flamethrower!
What a spectacular play. 5th goal of the day. The redshirt freshman Chloe Humphrey sat on the sidelines last year, injured with a foot injury. This year she's a star. Sam Forrest with the takeaway check. And then in transition, this Tar Heel team is so dangerous. The step and rip.
It takes an unbelievable amount of control to get this shot off in a sliver of space and generate that amount of power from the outside. And you mentioned Sam Forrest defensively. She stayed on again in transition, pulling the defense for Florida all the way down to the crease. And that's what opened up that lane for Chloe Humphrey to step in and rip.
What's amazing is North Carolina, in their storied history, has never had a Tewaaraton winner. Now, I'm not saying Chloe Humphrey's going to win it this season. She is a finalist. But she's just a freshman. You'd have to think over the next 3 years, at some point, she will take home that trophy and become the first ever Tewaaraton winner for UNC.
The only other freshman to be named a finalist in college lacrosse on the men's side, it was Mikey Powell, a name lacrosse fans know very well, one of the greatest players in all of lacrosse in the history of our sport. So she's up there in rarefied air.
And her older sister Ashley draws the foul there.
See that push into the body, that'll set her up for an 8-meter shot. Chloe Humphrey missed her first shots of the day. Since then, she's gone 5 for 5.
And an opportunity to deliver North Carolina a 10-goal lead. Ashley put it over the top there.
She took off her angle a little bit by veering to the right-hand side. I would like to see her to cut to the inside more and get that shot, but Carolina will maintain possession.
She uses such subtle deception, especially on 8 meters. A lot of times she looks it off, finds a no-look passing option right there. She elects to shoot it.
Looks like an off-ball foul on Chloe Humphrey.
So this will send Chloe to the 8 meter for a free position. We saw what she just did on that last goal. She can let it rip.
Ooh, she gets, that easily could have been a card with this stick into the face, but this will set her up for the 8 meter.
Chloe charges in, didn't get a clean look there. And Florida saying they were closest to the ball, instead it stays North Carolina's way.
You saw in that replay of the foul on Chloe Humphrey how she doesn't stop moving. We saw it in the first half, but constantly working off ball to manipulate her defender.
And that's why it's so hard to face guard her.
Chloe Humphrey make it 6 goals to her name in this semifinal. Her speed is unmatched. And it's 12 straight North Carolina goals. Chloe Humphrey has 6 of them.
One of the best compliments you can get as a lacrosse player is, what's your dominant hand? One of the most two-handed players that we have seen in the college lacrosse landscape. Chloe Humphrey initiates from behind, but she can go either way. She earns the race to goal line, gets her hands free, and she is on a tear.
Now it has turned into the Chloe Humphrey show. 6 goals. It's been incredible to watch.
What a dominant scorer for this UNC team all season long, but on the biggest stage, she's done it in multiple different ways. Whether it's from the outside on the one-on-one dodge, the step and rip, she can beat you. She's basically unscoutable at this point. All of her different skills, the two-handedness, she does it all.
And she's always reading her defender, whether it's on ball or off ball.
So these are the 5 Tewaaraton finalists, which goes to the nation's best player in the sport of lacrosse. You see Chloe and her older sister Ashley, 2 of the 5 finalists, Rachel Clark, Shea Dolce from Boston College, and Madison Taylor from Northwestern. You know, the prevailing thought is that whoever ends up with more goals, Taylor or Clark, and sets that NCAA record for most goals in a season will be the Tewaaraton winner. Chloe Humphrey might have other ideas, and now Marissa White gets in on the act. Her first goal of the game, and North Carolina now leading by 11. And this clock will run now that North Carolina's up double digits. Florida called a timeout after the last goal to prevent it from running. And now there's nothing Florida can do to stop the clock.
Marissa White, 47th goal this season. She's one of those players that redshirted last year in 2024. She can score in multiple different ways. Excellent, splitting through the defense, protecting her stick, and evading the crease. Love the ability. When you're shooting right on top of a goalie like that, there is really nothing much the goalkeeper can do. You see the smile from White.
You know how much it means to her to be back out on the field competing. Missed the season last year due to injury. She is that dodging threat as well.
The draw circle dominance. Kate Levy coming up with another key circle possession. That takes a lot of skill. They're constantly practicing where to be, anticipating where the ball is going to do, to seal off the defenders, working as a unit. I mean, Charlotte, you are a huge factor of the draw team, and there's so much that goes into it that a common viewer may not see.
That they don't see at all. You scout offenses and defenses. You also scout draw units. And watching this North Carolina team throughout the entirety of the season, it feels like that is the area that has developed so much from February to now. The chemistry, the communication, the opportunistic anticipation of where to beat your matchup in space. They're always boxing out and talking to each other.
And this is domination from #1 North Carolina. 13 straight goals, 9 straight draw controls. Truly one-way traffic in this semifinal. And now Kate Levy an opportunity to further this North Carolina lead. Her mother Jenny watching on. Now, Florida has not attempted a shot in 15 minutes. That's how one way it has been for North Carolina.
Carolina has been stellar on the draw circle, holding possession, and defensively have really stepped up.
And Levy beats Finau and adds another to Carolina's tally.
Kate Levy, daughter of head coach Jenny Levy, comes into this Tar Heels program having grown up around the older teams as a younger kid, now playing on the biggest stage. Buries an 8-meter.
And Florida has taken another timeout. And if you're wondering why the Gators are doing this, I think it's to stop the clock from running. Because North Carolina leads by more than 10 goals, the clock would continue to run, whereas it normally would stop. And Mandy O'Leary, Gators head coach, you got 3 of them. She's used 2, just trying to prevent that clock from running, give her team time to settle down.
Well, Jay, there's certainly a sense of desperation from the Florida sidelines, like you said, with UNC up by 12. And they've been quiet on the sidelines, really energetic in the first half, and the goal run from UNC has really silenced them, and Mandy O'Leary is encouraging them to keep the energy up here.
And what's incredible is Florida led this game 4-2. Since then, 14 straight goals for North Carolina. The Tar Heels well on their way to Sunday's championship game, noon Eastern time. And at Northwestern and Boston College, the 2 programs that have decided the last 2 national championships, they meet next year at Gillette Stadium. North Carolina more than likely going to hold on to this 12-goal lead. There's a lot of time left, but the running clock is such a disadvantage right now for Florida. Makes it near impossible to come back.
A 10-goal lead will start that running clock. Florida just needs to get on the ball, get just back on the board a little bit, get some shots. They've been held scoreless. They need possession. Domination on the draw for UNC. 16 draw controls to Florida's 5.
And sometimes, Sheehan, to your point, all it takes is one spark, one play, one goal to take a deep breath and relax a little bit and get back into the flow of the game.
Sarah Gresham thought she had won it to herself, stolen away by Florida. This is the first time the Gators have had possession in a long time. Sometimes when that happens, Sheehan, you can force it.
And that's just a pass you don't want to make right there. You got to make sure that you run out of trouble. And that's a hard foul in the middle. And we'll see what this color is. It's going to be a green card.
And that's the early jump double. If you're Florida, you win possession, you've got to continue to move your feet and move the ball. The early offense collapses the defense. Here's the foul in the midfield committed by Davies. Extension of the arms because it's between the 30s. That's a green card, 1 minute releasable penalty.
They're going to be missing Caitlin Davies, who's been a huge factor of coming up with the ground balls when it does hit the turf for this Florida team. Carolina so dangerous when they are even on offense, but especially when they're woman up. Such a great feeding team. Very unselfish, constantly moving the ball.
This is poetry in motion. A power play goal. And North Carolina, they're picking the right passes. Ever since that first quarter ended, this has been complete domination by UNC.
Carolina looks calm, they look confident, so unselfish, getting the defense spread out, woman up. You make plays when you're a player up by moving the ball, finding the seams. Marissa White gets this pass on the run. Ashley Humphrey with the assist. They make it look easy.
You're right. You could see the way on the inside that Marissa White and Chloe Humphrey are moving off ball. They know they're man up somewhere. And on the interior, if Chloe Humphrey cuts to the pipe, She's got a defender with her. Marissa White follows her as that trailing cut, and it's wide open.
This has been a clinic from North Carolina as we show you tomorrow right here at Gillette Stadium, the men's semifinals on ESPN2. It starts at noon with Cornell and Penn State, and then Maryland and Syracuse.
Jay, that offensive clinic had Florida elect to make yet another goalie switch, so Georgia Hoy back in for Fennell in this third quarter.
And there is nothing the Gators can do right now the way North Carolina is playing. 15 unanswered goals by this Tar Heels team.
And it's also been time of possession. The early defense, the early pressure, as soon as Florida gets into the offensive zone, they trap, they suffocate with perimeter pressure. And that's been giving this Tar Heels offense a lot of minutes to work.
The last time Florida attempted a shot, 8 minutes and 13 seconds left in the second quarter. The few times they've had possession, they've been swarmed by UNC's pressure. And the Tar Heels have cashed in. They started shooting 2 for 7, so a slow start. Since then, they have made 15 of their last 21 shots. Remarkable. And here's Nicole, with Chloe Humphrey stepping up. Already 6 goals today. Humphrey weaving in and scores. Chloe Humphrey, she can't stop scoring. Make it 7 goals for Chloe Humphrey.
Chloe Humphrey is on a tear, this time exploding off the 8-meter, protecting her stick. She is her finishing ability. She's so deceptive. She utilizes her stick fakes, head fakes, her body. She's so quick. A record for UNC, 86 goals on the season. Also on that play, Florida awarded a yellow card for a check to the head against Chloe Humphrey. So UNC will go back to make it take it. There will not be a draw, and they'll have possession.
And Chloe set up by one of her older sisters, Nicole Humphrey, in on that possession for North Carolina. It's great to see all 3 sisters playing together for this Tar Heels team. It's Ashley and Chloe that have had the headlines this season, but Nicole's been playing for North Carolina the longest. She actually scored a goal in the 2022 National Championship game. Chloe and Ashley were in the stands that day and told us yesterday it was that moment where they said, we got to go to North Carolina and play for a national championship like Nicole. And they have done that today, completing that goal, playing in their first championship weekend, doing it in spectacular fashion.
Officials reviewing this play. You can review goal-scoring plays in cardable fouls. Watch if there's contact made with the head. Hard to tell from that angle. There was a card awarded on the field, so the ruling on the field is a card.
And if you're that stick side defender on an 8-meter, you're trying to get a piece of the stick or a piece of the shot, but you have to be careful when you're leaning into that type of pressure. You cannot make contact with the head and neck area of a player. Oftentimes you hear coaches telling people to slide to space and lead with your body instead of your stick.
And have control of that stick. And oftentimes, even though contact with the head is an automatic yellow card, even if you make a slash and a swinging check that misses, they can still card that. I didn't see the contact there with the head necessarily, so I wonder if that potentially could be reversed. But similar to football, it's got to be indisputable evidence on there, and the call on the field was a card.
But one thing we know will stand is the goal.
Just confirming the time.
The time will be put back to 4:06. Chloe Humphrey, that's 7 goals. That is a career high for Chloe Humphrey, and to do it in a national semifinal is special. And the last person to score 7 goals in a game for North Carolina, Jamie Ortega, in 2021. Earlier this game, Humphrey passing Ortega for the most goals in a single season scored by a North Carolina player. So a special season for Chloe Humphrey continuing here, championship weekend. And if you're tuning into this game, you'd think we're lying when we said Florida led this game 4-2 at the end of the first quarter. Gators had all the momentum in the first 15 minutes, and it's been 16 straight goals for North Carolina. Denied on the power play, Vergano. Hoy makes the stop for Florida. The ball's gonna go back to North Carolina, though.
I think they're saying that Hoy warded off with her offhand, and that the ball will stay with Carolina. And one of the difference makers in this game when Florida was up was Carolina, their pressure on the ride, coming up with key possessions. And they're gonna put the goalie because she was the person foul, so the net is wide open.
The ride is relentless. Nearly another North Carolina goal. Hoy got it with her helmet to deny Godin.
Perfectly timed check by Ashley Humphrey to get that possession back in the ride, but right on cue, Sheehan. It's been their extra possessions from the relentless pursuit in the ride.
Florida 5 failed clears. North Carolina has capitalized. The pressure has been outstanding. Harden, another goal. Kaylee Harden cashes in on the power play. She scored the first goal of this game for North Carolina, and now she scores the 19th.
This team shares the ball so well, and that is evident when they are in the power play setting. Ashley Humphrey rides to get this ball back, takes it away from Caitlin Davies, and that gives them another chance to go to work. Ashley Humphrey sets up Kaylee Harden, and that subtle hesitation as she catches that ball is what freezes the defense. And then she earns another step towards the center cage. The variety of threats that this offense has been on display today, from the midfield all the way down to the attacking line.
And if you're new to the game and wondering why she slid her stick on the turf, you have to drop your stick after your goal is scored, so the officials check the pocket depth to make sure you're playing with a legal stick. But players have multiple different ways of doing it. Some completely chuck it, some like to spike it on the ground, some place it down gently. Everyone's got a little unique style and flair, but it's again to make sure that the pocket is legal. Another draw control win for Carolina, just dominating time of possession.
Sheehan, you've been doing champ weekends for 20 years. Have you ever seen a team score 17 unanswered?
I have to say that the answer is no. I mean, like, this is unbelievable. The change even from the first quarter to the second quarter, we've seen weather delays and injuries that have changed the course of the game, and that is definitely something that I remember in multiple different championship weekends. But 17 straight goals is...
It's unheard of.
It's unheard of.
And it feels like it's been make it, take it, from the draw control to the offensive set.
Final 20 seconds of the third quarter. And then North Carolina will be just 15 minutes away from an appearance back in the national championship game. Last time they were in it was 2022, also undefeated. The Tar Heels comfortable, closing the third quarter with a 15-goal lead. A special season continuing for the top-seeded Tar Heels. They're 15 minutes away from playing for a national championship.
Coach Levy, how do you best describe 17 straight goals by your Carolina offense?
You know, they just love to play lacrosse. They love to play together. They're very electric, exciting. I'm so happy we found a groove against Florida and their great game plan in the first quarter. We just want to stay aggressive and make the easy play and finish. So I think we started doing that, which is great.
15 minutes left to close out the fourth quarter before you find yourself in Championship Sunday. How do you want to close out this game?
I just want to play clean, I want to play smart, and I want to play together. And I think if we do those things, you know, the game's not over. There's 15 minutes left.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, thanks.
That just sums it up from the Hall of Famer Jenny Levy and exemplifies her passion for the game. 15-goal lead. She's saying this game's not over. We got to keep our foot on the gas.
But I think also what you want is to make sure you close out those 15 minutes strong. So they've done a great job in the second and third quarter. The first quarter was not great, but you definitely want to make sure you close the fourth quarter the way that you had those second and third quarters.
North Carolina has now won 13 of the last 14 draw controls. So much balance and depth has led to these 19 goals. The Humphrey sisters leading the way like they normally do. Chloe, 7 goals. Ashley, 4 assists.
And Florida's had 0 shots in over 23 minutes, so they've just maintained possession. And UNC has put the pressure on defensively, causing 8 turnovers for Florida.
And right now you're seeing a lot of substitutions being made on the offensive end. Both Ashley and Chloe Humphrey not in right now for the Tar Heels.
And what a luxury that is, to rest some of your star players ahead of Sunday's championship game, whereas Boston College and Northwestern, we expect that to be a hard fight throughout for full 4 quarters.
Really looking forward to the second game between BC and Northwestern.
What are you looking forward to most in that matchup?
Well, one, it's been 2 teams that have had some epic battles. 2 of the last national championship games have had those 2 teams. Boston College got the better of Northwestern in the regular season. I love seeing the adjustments they make. I think they match up extremely well. Got another couple Tewaaraton finalists in that game. Maddie Taylor for Northwestern leading the way. And Rachel Clark on offense. We got some great goal scorers out there to watch. Shea Dolce and Cage.
Yep, for one of the best goalies in the nation, putting up ridiculous numbers in terms of save percentages and goals against.
Betty Nelson hasn't been asked to do much, but makes the save there. That's Florida's first shot in 25 minutes. That's hard for a goalie when you haven't faced much, and then you're pressed into action. Good job by Nelson there. UNC has shut out Florida since the first quarter. Gators led this game 4-2. Since then, 17 unanswered goals by the Tar Heels.
Got an injured player down. Great sportsmanship from Betty Nelson, trying to help her out, waving the sideline.
Jenny Markey is down for Florida.
Hoping it's a cramp. She's been in that position since she was on the turf. Markey, a transfer from Syracuse, has been a great addition to this Florida team.
Head coach Mandy O'Leary trying to get her out of high school. Instead, she chose between Syracuse and Florida, went to Syracuse, and O'Leary finally got her for her 5th year. And I think one thing that is worth mentioning about Florida is this is a Gators team that was not expected to get to championship weekend. Lost 75% of their scoring from a year ago. Maggie Hall and Danielle Pavanelli, 2 of the best goal scorers in the history of Florida's program, graduates. So this is a brand new team that has made another appearance, and getting back to the Final Four in consecutive years is such a feat for a program.
And when you talk to head coach Mandy O'Leary, she mentions this team is different in terms of their chemistry and the way they played together throughout the entirety of the season and improved in so many different ways. But quite the accomplishment to come back to championship weekend after graduating so much offensive production.
They only had 4 starters return from last year's team and lost over 70% of the scoring. It's unbelievable. There's the players that have stepped up in the role. They came in here super confident. I mean, they were battle-tested overtime victory against Stanford. They held a big lead against Duke, and then Duke came storming back in that quarterfinal matchup and held on for the win. They knew they were the underdog, but telling us yesterday that they embraced that role, they believed in themselves, but knew that they had to play a perfect game coming against this UNC Tar Heel team. And we've seen some of the best lacrosse out of UNC in this game today that they've put on display.
One of the best parts about championship weekend are the adjustments that are made not only from game to game when these two teams met in the regular season, but in game. And you see adjustments made to perfection by this Tar Heels team from quarter one to now.
So what changed, in your opinion? What changed most? Because I know a lot of things did.
Well, they were able to continue momentum from defense through transition into the offensive end, and they got Chloe Humphrey involved in the settled set while she was trying to be face guarded and denied the ball. Getting her touches and getting her involved in the dodging space caused chaos within the defense for Florida.
Good news for Florida fans, Jenny Markey, just a cramp on her right calf. She said she's pretty embarrassed that she couldn't get up off the field, but she is okay.
It's great to hear, great to hear. You hate to see a big injury. They look like maybe some contact inside, but UNC will have the ball. And Jay, you mentioned the adjustments. You know, it was clear, first quarter, there was a double face guard employed by Florida, and they pulled out Ashley and Chloe Humphrey. Second quarter, the adjustment was, we're getting rid of that. We are gonna have them inside the play and play 7-on-7. And that, I think, was the big difference. And Chloe Humphrey went on a tear, scoring 3 straight goals to open up that second quarter. It seemed like we were talking about it off camera, that they were a little bit unsettled playing 5-on-5. Even with a lot of space, they weren't able to get into a rhythm offensively.
And they were able to generate better scoring lanes to be able to dodge. A lot of people talk about dodging and winning your matchup, but you gotta have the space to be able to do so. And the off-ball work by this Tar Heels offense, equally as impressive as the on-ball execution.
Yeah, it was Chloe Humphrey's goals that ignited the run. She ends up having 7 off the field right now, not expected to play in this fourth quarter with a comfortable 15-goal advantage. But as much as we talk about the offense, it's really that pressure, the defense so dialed in for the Tar Heels right now. I just can't think of a better second and third quarter than we saw from North Carolina. And it's Nicole Humphrey who gets in on the scoring. The third Humphrey sister scores the 20th goal of this semifinal for North Carolina. And Chloe and Ashley loving it.
Little sisters on the sideline jumping up and down for their big sister, Nicole. Back at Carolina. What a great moment for this Tar Heel team and the Humphrey family here with Nicole's battle injuries, foot injuries this year. Godin with the feed inside, and that's a nice handle. Catch and score. Nicole Humphrey, one of those players that was on the 2022 National Championship team, scored a goal in that game for Carolina. Spent a year at USC and then made a decision to come back here, and they've had the opportunity as 3 sisters to play at the Division I level together.
What a magical experience to have those sisters be playing on the same field at the biggest stage, and Nicole having experience at the Final Four sure does help, but it showcases the depth of this team.
And what's incredible is because of the age gap, Ashley and Nicole have never played organized lacrosse with Chloe until this season. Obviously, played many times in the backyard, but because of the redshirt years and added COVID years, and then Chloe getting that redshirt year last year, this year to have all 3 together for this Tar Heels team has been special. And it's been all smiles from the Humphrey sisters in this semifinal.
Looks like they're calling an offsides call on North Carolina, which is a green card in the midfield.
So Florida will now be up a player for up to 1 minute.
Florida has not scored since the 3:34 mark in the first quarter. They led this game 4-2. From that mark, Carolina has had 18 unanswered goals. And Florida's last goal did come on a power play.
Gianna Monaco, the leading goal scorer for Florida, 73 goals on the season, has not scored, does have 2 assists. She tried to take that, but just was not able to slice through the defense cleanly.
Foul called. Florida had 8 shots in that first quarter. Since they've only attempted 3 shots. Penny Nelson says no. The shutout from the first quarter remains for Carolina. And North Carolina now really able to rotate that depth in. They feel very comfortable with their second and even third line players, allowing the starters to get a breather in this fourth quarter ahead of Sunday's championship game, where they await the winner of Boston College and Northwestern. That game coming up next right here on ESPNU from Gillette Stadium.
And that's a significant advantage because it is a 48-hour window. You've got 1 day in between today and Championship Sunday, and it's not a lot of time to recover, so a huge advantage to be able to rotate in a lot of players.
Nice defense in Florida.
That rings off the pipe after Hoy got a piece of it.
North Carolina has seen both Northwestern and Boston College this season. Faced Boston College twice, once in the regular season, once in the ACC tournament. They won both games. Both were very close battles. And also beat Northwestern early in the season. But it's amazing how all 3 teams have really changed throughout the season and improved in different ways.
Well, UNC has been deadly accurate. 29 of their 36 shots have been on goal. And 20 of them have found the back of the net.
And they've been generating high percentage opportunities in the spaces that you work to get to, right over the top of defenders and inside the middle of that 8-meter, generating a lot of assisted goals as well. They like those options. They're a team that feeds off of their chemistry on both sides of the ball, but particularly offensively.
One of the crazy things there's people out there that don't watch this game and they look at the box score. They're going to see Chloe Humphrey with 7 goals, and then they're going to look at the final score and think maybe she got them easy. And the reality is, if you tuned into this game, those were 7 crucial goals at crucial times that were a huge part of this comeback. And then she's not played for much of this game, sitting out there as some key players get their time on the field. But a fantastic performance by the redshirt freshman.
They have to wonder what the officials could possibly be looking at here. In a 16-goal game with 5 minutes and 33 seconds left, we've been told they're checking the time. And the clock is running. It might have ticked down too much. We're running out of superlatives to describe North Carolina's performance in this semifinal. Trailed at the end of the first quarter 4-2. Since then, 18 unanswered as the Tar Heels head back to the national championship game. They won it in 2022, also undefeated, also came in as the favorites. A lot of similarities between those 2 teams for North Carolina, the 2022 team and this one, Shan.
Yeah, that 2022 team, perfect, sunny, beautiful day back in Baltimore, Maryland at Homewood Field. And you look at the goal score, 18.5 goals per game, and then 17.6 for this 2025 team. Stout defenses, excellent goaltenders. Taylor Marino in 2022, and then you see the two finalists, Ali Mastriani, Jamie Ortega in 2022, and then the Ashley and Chloe Humphrey in this game.
Chloe Humphrey surpassed Jamie Ortega today with the single season record for goals in a Carolina uniform. What a record to hold.
And Charlotte, you played against Carolina in that 2022 title game. What made them so special?
Similar to this year's team, they had a lot of depth at every position. One of the best defenders in the game in Emma Trenchard. We saw goalkeeper Taylor Moreno, but throughout the midfield and the offensive zone as well, a tremendous amount of depth and chemistry.
It'll be interesting to see just the defenses, what we'll see when the next team who faces Carolina, what do? Do they employ a face guard? It didn't work well for Florida today, trying to take out Ashley Humphrey, had 4 assists, and Chloe Humphrey with the 7 goals.
She's been highly efficient in everything she's done on the offensive end. Off the dodge, off ball, working the backside of a defense. And of course, highly efficient on her shooting as well.
Nine different goal scorers for North Carolina. 20 goals, and 18 of the 20 have come unanswered since the end of the first quarter. And the Tar Heels will head to the championship game where they await the winner of Boston College and Northwestern. And you can't imagine they could go in with more momentum or more confidence after this semifinal performance.
What I think is also important for this Carolina team was without a great start, they still were able to make the adjustments, reset, and start strong.
Riley Casey now with a free position. The veteran winding up, steps in, rings it off the pipe. Monaco, saved by Betty Nelson.
Nelson does a nice job coming out high in that crease area. Her stick extended, reading the shot extremely well and controlling it.
Nelson is first nationally in goals against, holding teams to under 8 goals on average. Plays a high arc sometimes, is able to really make it difficult for shooters. But she, and what's even more impressive is she hasn't seen a lot of shots in this second half, yet she's still coming up with saves.
5 saves on the day for Betty Nelson. And that's hard when you're not able to get into a rhythm because you're not seeing a lot of shots, but she looks dialed in. And that's key, especially if you're the #1 seed, just staying focused. You can't look too far ahead. Stay in the moment and present.
And I'm sure Florida is hugely frustrated by this semifinal performance since the end of the first quarter, but I think this result says a lot more about North Carolina than it does Florida.
Talking to Mandy O'Leary, the head coach for Florida, she said they have to play a near-perfect game. First quarter started out strong, but this Tar Heel team showed what they've done all season long. They've been tested by Boston College, had a close game against Northwestern, but everyone else has not really been able to crack the code in terms of being a huge competitive match with them. At times they have, but not for a full 60 minutes.
And we talk about the offense. When you look at the score, you think offense and their production. But it's worth noting the complete game that they've played at the draw control circle, stringing momentum together. They're winning 50-50 balls, and the defense has been suffocating in terms of perimeter pressure, perfectly timed double teams, stick checks, just disrupting this Florida offense and doing it early.
Nelson, another great save in this fourth quarter. North Carolina, a little more than a minute left from holding this Florida team scoreless for the final 3 quarters of this semifinal. And 1 minute away from a trip to the national championship game. It's noon on ESPN, right here in Foxborough, Massachusetts. For more information, you can go to NCAA.com, your official online home for all 90 NCAA championships. And then a half hour from now, we'll bring you Boston College and Northwestern, a rematch of the last 2 national championship games. In between now and then, you'll be with Rachel DeCecco and Drew Carter. They'll tell you everything you need to know about that Northwestern BC matchup. Now, this was a complete performance by the undefeated, top-seeded Tar Heels. They left no doubt in this semifinal. They shut Florida out for the final 3 quarters of this game. 18 unanswered goals. A historic performance. And North Carolina will battle for a national championship on Sunday.
A well-deserved win for this Tar Heel team. They stayed perfect, undefeated. Wasn't a pretty start, but they turned things around. Defense was the spark. Possessions. Chloe Humphrey, 7 goals. A real team win.
The #1 scoring offense, the #1 scoring defense, for a reason. On full display, especially in those final 3 quarters.
And for Florida, their season ends. But they have taken this program to a 2nd straight championship weekend for the first time in program history. Still a lot to be proud of. And for that first quarter, they led 4-2. And then Carolina ends this game on an 18-0 run. Let's hear from their head coach, Jenny Levy, with Dana Boyd.
She's congratulating her players. Coach, you've positioned your team to play in Championship Sunday with a convincing win over Florida. What do you make of the performance by your team?
Well, we haven't played since Thursday, so it's felt like a pretty long layoff, and trying to keep everyone sharp and together. And I'm just really proud of them. They're a great group. They work hard. They love the game. They love each other. And we got one more. So congrats to Florida on a great season. And you know, obviously we see them twice. That's the 2nd time we've seen them. So I know they're disappointed, but Mandy's done a great job with them. And you know, congrats to their season.
You put up 20 goals. How do you best explain the chemistry on offense we just witnessed?
I mean, we didn't know, you know, we just don't know sometimes. At the beginning of the season, we weren't sure what it would look like, but each game they find ways, and they just work hard, and they love to play, and they're creative and skilled, so it's really fun.
We'll give the offense some credit, but defensively you held Florida to 4 goals. What does that show you about your defense?
I mean, they're good. We played a really tough Princeton team too that was so good offensively, and Clemson's been very good offensively. So we always hope that our schedule will help prepare us for our postseason, and so far it's done a pretty good job.
Chloe Humphrey had 7 goals in that game. She now holds the single season goal record at Carolina, surpassing Jamie Ortega. What makes her so special?
I mean, she's so creative. She can score from anywhere. She's incredible. She's a big-time dog in the ride, so she does other things besides just score. But she's a really hard matchup, and she's going to beat you in a lot of different ways, and she's got a right and a left, and, you know, it's hard to take everything away from her. But she's special. She's really special.
Two-handed, and she's just a freshman, but go celebrate with your team. We'll see you on Sunday.
Thanks so much.
A convincing semifinal win for undefeated #1 North Carolina, 20-4, the final score. Tar Heels await the winner of Northwestern and Boston College. The neon is starting to trickle in to Gillette Stadium. BC hoping that they can get a home crowd advantage against the Big Ten champions, Northwestern. We are really looking forward to that semifinal between now and then. Drew Carter and Rachel DeCecco have you covered. They'll be on the other side of the break as Jenny Levy and North Carolina marching on to play for a national championship. Dana Boyle, Charlotte North, she and Samara Birch, Jay Alter saying so long from now. Northwestern and Boston College still to come. And Rachel and Drew have you covered on the other side.